Hi everyone, it is Jackie from the Woolly Badger here, and today I am going to be showing you how to work ribbing in your knitting. I'm going to be showing you how to work knit to, purl to rib, but the principles are the same for whatever type of rib you are doing. And by type of rib, I mean you might do knit one, purl one rib, you might do knit one, purl two, whatever your pattern tells you to do. A quick explanation first of what ribbing is. It is this edging here, which sort of makes a ribbed fabric. It is knitted sort of on the tops, bottoms, edges of garments and accessories to stop the edge rolling up and to sort of neaten them up a bit. In a sweater, a ribbed hem also helps to sort of fit it to your body. It's normally worked in a needle size that is smaller than the needle size for your main body, so you may find that your knitting pattern will ask you to use 2 needle sizes. There will be one for the rib, one for the main body. So what ribbing actually is in the sort of anatomy of it is you have columns of knit stitches and columns of purl stitches lined up next to each other, and that change creates the ribbing. So here is my little sample that I am going to be demonstrating on. As you can see, I'm working in the round today. I have already joined in the round here. If you want to see how that works, I have another video which I will link down in the description. And we are going to be working knit to, purl to rib. Now, the key thing with any kind of rib that you are working is making sure your yarn is in the right place before you start your stitch. So I am going to start off with knitting 2 stitches. So I had my yarn in the back there. Then I need to purl 2 stitches. Now for a purl stitch, your yarn is in front of your needles. So what I have to make sure I do is bring the yarn to the front underneath my needle before I then work those 2 stitches. So purling those 2. Then I'm going to move my yarn underneath and to the back again to work my next 2 knit stitches. Now, if I don't move my yarn before I switch between stitches, I'll give you a quick demo of what's happened. So I got 2 purl stitches here. So my yarn does need to go to the back. I'm not going to move it, just to show you. So if I then just knit those 2 stitches, you can see that here, between the knit and purl, I've got an extra little loop appearing over my needle. And then if I go straight to purling, again, without moving that yarn, the same thing happens again. I get the extra little loops there. It's a very, very common mistake made when people first are knitting and ribbing. And it just makes things more complicated and tricky to deal with. But I will show you in a moment what to do if you have got those little loops. So I have just got to the end of my first round here of doing knit to, purl to. So the key to make your ribbing look like ribbing is you need to make sure your stitches are all facing in the same direction. The easiest way to do that is to look for these bumps here, which mark sort of the top of the loop of your stitch and show you which direction they're facing. If you look from this side, you can pull down on these stitches and see there's a V shape here. And next to them, there's that loop from the top of the stitch. So the ones that are appearing with a V are the ones that you want to knit. So I'm going to knit those 2 stitches, and then the ones with the bump are purl. So you can carry on like that, and already you can see that that ribbing shape is starting to form. Your pattern should have this all worked out and lined up for you, but it is helpful just to know what you are looking for with all things knitting. Now I'm just going to carry on until I get to those little loops that I put in here just before. Because it is pretty much inevitable that you are going to forget to move your yarn at some point or another, especially if you are just getting started with knitting. So here we go. I've done my knit two, and then if I look here, it's all gone a bit awry. I've got that funny loop that's happening there. I've got 2 stitches here and then another funny loop. It's easy to get to this point and panic. You really, really do not need to, because all you need to do is drop the funny loop off your needle, knit the next 2, and then when you come to this point and you've got that again, you can drop that loop and carry on, and you've fixed it. If you are ever sort of a bit like, hang on, is that a stitch or not, then look at where the yarn is going to. If it is coming sort of out of a V on one side and into a bump on the other, it is a stitch. If, I'll just do it back, it's sort of going under a bump and then sort of doing something different on the front, that's a funny loop. You can normally tell because it will just have a straight up hole underneath it. So you just drop it and carry on doing your thing. And there you go. That's how to rib.